Dalanie.
And this is Katie. Welcome to Classically Black Podcast,
where we talk all things classical music and being black in the profession, with
trap beats playing in the background. Hey, sis.
Hey, sis.
Episode 2 up in this piece.
All right. They're like, y'all laughing already.
Right. Listen, it's hard out here, so somebody gotta laugh.
Right.
Might as well be us. How's your week, girl?
All right.
For real? Is that heavy? Is that bad, sis?
It happened. I don't know. It's just been busy practicing. Yeah. I have a recital coming up. So
yes, recital.
All right.
Okay, Carnegie Hall debut.
All right. Well,
Eastman.
Exactly.
let me not say the wrong
Seminary
thing.
Lounge debut.
Meanwhile, people waiting outside Carnegie Hall. I thought you said they weren't even gonna be out here.
Right. No. Yeah, I've just been preparing for that. Well.
Okay.
Going through the motions of that.
Okay, JB, listening in, taking notes.
Yeah, but we'll see how that goes. How about you, sister?
Yo, when I tell you I was sick this week, I don't get sick.
Hi, how'd you get sick, sister?
Shut up. And it's like, I know that sound dumb, like how you not get sick. When I tell you I haven't been sick since like 2005, because I take the right precautions, right? You feel a little tickle, NyQuil immediately, knock that joint out. Now my liver,
right? I was just about to say, look at your liver.
But I don't know how I got caught slipping, and the main reason why I don't like to be sick is because I'm very dramatic. So it's like, I didn't ask for no amen. So it's like, I literally can't go on. Like I can't. I literally
on your deathbed. Meanwhile, you coughed once.
I can't breathe. I can't see. I'm sweating. I'm cold. Like I'm just so dramatic. So I just prefer not to be sick. But you know what? We are cured and we are back. Like we never left.
Big sound.
What does that have to do with me being sick? You throw that in anywhere. Let's move on, because remind me not to ask you about your week again, because it's like, no.
On to news this week. This week we're going to be talking about the new YOLA Center being built in Inglewood. So this is obviously a little closer to me, and probably I'm a little biased on this, because not only am I YOLA alumni, but I'm also born and raised in Inglewood. Good, my people. So for those of y'all who don't know what YOLA is, I'm just gonna read a little quote from the press kit announcing this project. Now, this isn't like new news. Like, this project, the plans and everything for the new YOLA Center were released in August. But, I just thought we should, talk about it. It's still news because they're not even going to start building it until the spring of 2019.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But it says, established by the LA Phil in 2007 and led by music and artistic director Gustavo Dudamel.
Hey, Dudamel.
Hey, Dudu.
How
no, my mom calls him that.
What?
Yeah.
I love Dudamel. His cute little face. Bless his heart.
This YOLA currently... Oh, YOLA stands for Youth Orchestra Los Angeles, by the way. YOLA currently serves more than 1,200 students in South LA, the Rampart District, Westlink/MacArthur Park, and East LA, providing free, high-quality music training and academic support. YOLA has grown to become one of the most influential community-based music education programs in the United States, while taking its place at the core of the LA Phil's identity. So, basically, a little background about the project is, I think it's like a $14.5 million project, yeah. And Frank Gehry is designing the building. For those of y'all who don't know, he's an amazing architect. He's like, he must be almost 90 by now. But he designed the Walt Disney Concert Hall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and a lot of other things. A really famous architect. So this is like a huge deal. And basically this has been like widely received, like well received. But some people have their opinions about like what a project like this would mean, like an elite institution like the LA Phil coming to like the inner city, even though they've been there, because they've been there in South LA, they've been there in East LA, doing YOLA. But what something like this is gonna be like a really like a really elegant and like high end like hall. They're the outside is gonna stay the same, so it's gonna fit in with like the buildings around it. The outside, it used to be like a bank and it was abandoned, so they're gonna keep the outside the same, but the inside is gonna have like a new concert hall. It's gonna have like a bunch of classrooms and practice spaces and rehearsal spaces, and it's basically gonna be like another add-on apparently to the LA Phil's 2 locations, Disney Hall and Hollywood Bowl. And so a lot of people are worried about gentrification in Inglewood, which personally, being from Inglewood, I think that this is probably last on the list.
I just don't understand how that would be gentrification if it's serving the students, the kids that already live there.
Right. I think people are worried that it won't, like that other people are going to come pouring in. Although,
but they would have done that already. LA Phil sits right across from Colburn. Like I feel like people would have infiltrated that space already.
I don't know. Like, it depends. Like, YOLA has a million different like sites. There's some downtown, some in South LA, like where USC is. Let me see, what other, like MacArthur Park over there by Leimert Park, which is like a really black neighborhood. Like that's where a lot of the like Caribbean and African shops are. Like it's like a real like center for jazz in LA too, Leimert Park. And then some in Hollywood too. But a lot of people are afraid that this in combination with the football stadium and all the different plans that they have to be, and they renovated the Forum, which is now like Rihanna doing concerts at the Forum. Drake is gonna be at the Forum this week. Like there's a lot of changes. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't agree. But I want to ask you. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about just like a program like YOLA in general. Like I know when we were talking on the last episode about just putting putting instruments in the hands of like Black children, how like that's not enough. Like what, in your opinion, especially because you do music education, all that, like what else do you think like organizations like this should be doing?
Well, I don't know enough about YOLA to say what else they should be doing. Like you said, you were in YOLA, right? Yeah. So, like where do the students come from?
They come from the areas that they serve. They do, and it's always been that way, which is why I'm not so worried about this. Like lots of people who are in YOLA, they could walk to orchestra rehearsal from where they live.
And where do they get the instruments from?
From Harmony Project, which
what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And are they good instruments? Are the instruments taken care of?
Yeah, they are taken care of. Like it's something, for the most part, if you need something for your instrument and your teacher goes to the people and say, hey, we need a rehair on this. It does depend on what site you're at. Unfortunately, that's what it seems. Seems like it depends on what site you're at, but for the most part, yeah, they'll take care of it.
I just think like after reading like a little bit about like the center, it seems like they give academic support as well. I just think that any program that's going to do something like this, and I can't say too much because I haven't started my own program, but I have worked with kids in similar situations to these kids, and it's like you have to make sure that you have every single facet covered. Like, how are they getting to rehearsals? You said they can walk. And
some can. I couldn't have.
See, and then having the luxury to be dropped off and be picked up. How are their academics doing? Are they reading at the level? Are you collaborating with schools to see like how well they're doing in that regard? Are the instruments good? Are the teachers good? Is the instruction good? It's like it's all things like that. Is there money for them to go to summer festivals? Is there money for them to apply to school to get to auditions? Is there money for them to buy the instrument that a teacher might be looking for at a higher level? It's like thinking, and it's like not every student is going to go into music, and that's fine. We understand that, but just making sure that the ones who decide to do that they're set up properly. And I think that's just like the
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I know that like the quote says, YOLA is like one of the most influential community-based music education programs. So a lot of other El Sistema inspired programs, which YOLA is inspired by El Sistema because Gustavo Dudamel is a product of El Sistema. But a lot of other El Sistema inspired programs are trying to model themselves after YOLA, and YOLA has not always had all those things that you mentioned, but pretty much all of them now they do, because YOLA is so well funded. It's the LA fit, like they got money. Like they just sent a couple people to Interlochen over the summer. Like that's a new thing, but they still did it. Like, but I'm glad that you said that because a lot of that stuff isn't highly publicized. I know that because I know people who are still in the program, but that's why I was like, oh, I'm glad you said that because other people who are trying to model themselves after this program like know that that's what YOLA is doing. They're also like making a point to help alumni and like fund alumni. Like, you know, I went to a summer festival over the weekend. I mean, not over the weekend, over the summer, and then, you know, I'm traveling with my bays. Okay, $400 each way.
Right. And I think you mentioned something that stuck out to me is like, how come other orchestras aren't funding stuff like this? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, it's a LA feel, so it's like not every orchestra has that kind of money, right? But it's like the major ones do. Yeah. Chicago Symphony, New York Phil, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. You know, it's like we're asking these orchestras to do so many things. Like, we want you to have a fellowship program for Black musicians, and then we want you to have things for your kids. But it's like, why not? Yeah. Like, you want to be able to sow into the future of classical music, which is gonna look really different, and I don't know what it's gonna look like, but it's gonna look different, and it has to look different. So it's like, I don't know, sewing into that and exploring new ways, because there's a lot of programs out here. I work for rock music, you know what I'm saying, putting instruments in the hands of these kids and trying to help them come into contact with classical music. And it's like, but if we have really big entities really caring about stuff like this, I think it would make a huge difference.
Yeah, I agree. So overall, I think that this is great. I'm excited to see the center when it's, you know, grown, and I feel like YOLA has a great track record as far as like all the things you mentioned, like teachers and you know, there's always room for improvement, but just being, I mean, I see people's concerns with the gentrification, but I feel like just through my experience,
I just don't understand how that's even a concern. I mean, I already said my point about that, but it's just like, that's not how that, to me, that's not how that works. Gentrification is like you raising the rent and push people out and putting a Starbucks on the corner. Yeah. So like white people can live there now. That to me is like very simple gentrification, not building a nice building so these kids can go to orchestra practice.
Yeah. I think the concern is that because so many things are changing at once, like the thing that makes like the rent and stuff raise is when they bring stuff like this too. So that I think that's what they're worried, that bringing this is going to attract, you know, other people moving in, which, I mean, like I said, like I listened to an interview with Mayor Butts, he's the mayor of Inglewood, and he's, you know, really adamant that this is not going to change anything. All these great things are coming to Inglewood, but the residents that already live there are not, you know, they're not gonna, but I'm not even gonna lie, it's very expensive to live there. It's not the most expensive to live in LA, obviously, right? But it's quite expensive, like to live there. So I like I said, this is the least of our worries. There's a lot of other stuff going on, with the stadium and all that junk, but that's neither here nor there. I think that anybody who's putting the blame of gentrification on this project, right, your blame is misplaced, right? Because like they are using all kinds of different sites in all kinds of different parts of LA, and this has never been an issue. So I just and I think that you actually have to have a certain income to even be like to even qualify for a program like this. That's shoot. I believe so. I would have to check with my mom, but I believe so. Like they're not just because in that case nobody would be, you know, or they wouldn't be accommodating kids who need a ride to practice, right? And, you know, and who need extra help. They would, because it would just be any old body could, you know, get in. So I don't know. I just wanted to talk a little bit about that and hear your opinion as an educator. Okay, Education Nation.
Okay, and we're moving on.
Got an intermission for us this week, sister?
Okay, so this week we're gonna play a little game of Never Have I Ever.
Oh God. Okay, Classically Black Podcast After Dark.
Not that kind of Never Have I Ever. Get your mind out the gutter, sister. It's not that kind of podcast. Your mama listening, piping up. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you some questions. Dalanie has not heard these questions. Like, she was over here peeking at my notebook. She has not heard or seen these questions. So, never have I ever skipped class to practice.
Get on my business. Please respect my privacy at this time, sister.
Sister, answer the question for the people, please.
I'm sure I have.
You can't recall a time.
Can I recall like a specific time? I can think of like a time period, like probably like close to jury week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, close to. Oh yeah. Now I'm remembering.
Oh, okay.
because they had me. No, they did me dirty because they over here talking about we gonna have your mid, your final, like they want us to learn all this junk, and it's like a couple of days before my jury. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Come on, Ned.
like, I'm not. So I'd be like, theory, you're gonna have to take this L.
See, I have not.
You have not.
I have never skipped a class to practice. Okay, let me tell you where I'm coming from though. My first 2 years of undergrad, I was impressed. I was like, it's gonna sound like trash anyway, so I'd rather be in class. And then, see, that math class, my junior year that I took an L in, I missed that class, but not for practice. And then Eastman, the stuff they be on, I'm not missing nobody's class.
Yeah,
I'd rather sit there sweating and stressed than to miss a class to practice.
Yeah, it depends. Like, if it's like, so like I said, it was like near jury week, and so it's towards the end of the year when we're doing review. I have like a tutor, so I'd rather meet with you outside, because odds are I'm not learning much, like, because I be in the morning when my brain not on. I'm not a morning person, so odds are I'm gonna be sitting there waking up for the whole duration of the class. So
I just heard what you said. You're so annoying.
So I'd rather just ask you my specific questions in private, but I will never, like, a lot of people will skip class like to practice because they have a lesson or something. I won't do that because I plan my lessons strategically. I don't have nothing within hours of my lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I don't so that I'm warming up, I'm relaxed, I'm not rushing like to my lesson from anywhere. But during week I might have to, because I'm playing in front of the whole string faculty at Eastman. You're not finna have me out here,
right? Meanwhile, your teacher looking at everybody else like, I've never seen this girl in my life.
Right, I'm not gonna have him out here sweating in the audience talking about Eastman Junior. They doing.
Okay, next question. Never had. Okay, you had to ruin it.
You got the wrong room, sis.
Okay, and we're back. Never have I ever cried in a lesson.
In a lesson?
In a lesson.
I've never cried in a lesson.
Neither have I.
I've held back tears in a lesson though.
I've held back tears in a lesson. But yeah. I'm not
gonna
First
cry
of all, you
my
already
teacher.
see me at my worst in my lesson.
I'm not gonna cry in front of you.
In front of you? No.
Nah. Mm-mm.
You already see me at my worst. My pieces are not finished. Right. I'm missing shifts. Whatever. You just gave me this A2 last week. You want to if people do it, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong. Yeah. I'm not really. I said I'm dramatic, but I'm not really an emotional person where like I'm crying a lot. And if I think the lesson, first of all, especially since I've been at Eastman, my lessons don't really go poorly.
Wow.
Are you done? It's mainly
it's true. Me too.
Also, it's my teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knows I work, so he's not piping up on me like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this sounds like trash. Like, he would never say something like that to me. He knows how to talk to me. He knows how to handle me. So I've never been in a situation where like, yo, like this is going so bad that I break down in front of you. And sometimes some of these musicians, like, they're so awkward. They be like, they're there. Like, I'm okay. Yeah. I'm actually more than fine. I can't
even imagine crying in front of. Oh my gosh.
I could not even. I mean,
I have definitely held back tears in the lesson though. Like, where like something just don't go right.
It's just not going right. Especially when it's like a deadline. Oh. I'll never forget my senior recital. I was working on Stamets, junk fell apart the week before. I'm like, this is in a week.
Oh no.
And I was like, bruh, I mean, I'm not gonna cry though. Thug up, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Some thug tears after the fact.
Right. We could go to the bathroom after. we gonna thug it out, right?
Right. Oh my god. Like, as soon as that door closed after he say bye, then I'm
right.
Like in my feelings, but nah, not in front of.
Okay. Never have I ever ditched a rehearsal.
No, I would never. I know you have.
Wait,
that sounds exactly like something you would do.
Okay, you can calm down. I have never ditched a rehearsal.
Oh, you have?
Mainly because the rehearsal grade and be hefty.
I wouldn't. I don't play with rehearsal. You know how I am with rehearsals.
Right, you be doing a lot.
If I'm not looking at the door to the room I'm supposed to be in at like 17 or like 16 and a half minutes before the rehearsal, I'm sweating because I'm like, I'm not gonna get there in time. Like I'm a 15 minutes before person.
I'm running in with an A going on.
I would fix it like because I don't want to be rushing and packing my bass, throwing my bow about.
See, but that's an important point. It's the nature of your instrument. I'm blah blah blah, and we good. You know what I'm saying?
Still, I'm also a person that like I'm afraid of being. I'm afraid of being late to places so much to the fact that so for some of y'all who don't know how Eastman is set up, it's the building and then right across the street is the dorm building where I live. I have studio class at 9 p.m. It'd be 8:30. I'm like, man, maybe I should start heading over because, if some world work going on and I gotta go around.
Right, dear bro, just run across the street.
Meanwhile, it's 8:32. I'm outside the door. Exactly. My class started at 9.
I need that energy because I'll be leaving for studio at 7:55. Knowing that it takes 6 minutes to get there. But you know what?
Like, I just, would never no. Oh, you know what? Okay, wait.
After all of that, piping up.
What's the statute of limitations on this?
That's a good question. I'm talking about
during college.
I'm talking about college.
Oh, then never.
Because high school.
High school, I remember one time.
Not even then in high school. I liked the orchestra. That was my thing. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't missing nobody's orchestra. Because
they did that junk where he would do a surprise pop playing test in front of the whole orchestra, and I knew we hadn't had one in a while, and it was track 6. That dun 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 dun. That part, I was like, you're not gonna have me out here, so I had to head on home. But
oh shoot, that's why you did.
Look at the feds coming for me.
Okay, but also like high school is different because at least in my high school, it's not easy to ditch a class. What you gonna do? Be in a bathroom for 40 minutes?
I went to high school on a college campus. Oh, yeah, so it was an open campus. It was whatever.
Right, but I mean, there's nowhere in my high school for you to ditch. You're literally in a bed. You look dumb. Like you look dumb. Yeah,
ours is just literally we use the college campus like for orchestra and everything. So it was whatever. No. But I'm the type of person, I'm not missing rehearsal. People look at me sideways. I'm not even about to miss rehearsal because I'm sick. I got my birthday coming up. We said, look, they're gonna be like, you want to cancel? No.
So now we got strep because you want to be diligent. Next question.
Right now, we still ain't touch movements 5 and 6. No, it's my birthday meaning nothing. Like, nah.
Girl, boo.
What you mean? Rehearsals, sis.
Right, well, you can get a sub.
For my quintet?
Oh.
Yeah. I got orchestra and quintet rehearsal on. But
how you out here? Never have I ever missed a concert.
No. Missed a concert that I was supposed to be in?
Yeah, you're supposed to be in it.
Like just didn't show up?
Like didn't show up or something happened along the way or whatever. Like you missed
I couldn't give them notice?
Right, like they it's A's at 7:30. Where's Dalanie?
Nah.
Yeah. I've never missed a concert.
Oh, okay.
A concert?
A concert.
I'm grade driven though, so you're not gonna take no L in orchestra.
Right.
Meanwhile, your next school looking at you like, sis, you good? Right. D in orchestra.
Right. I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago saying like they were at some festival in Austria or something like that. I don't know. And some girl coming in unpacking her case while like in the middle of the first piece, she got stuck somewhere. I was like, what?
That would stress me out.
I would probably cry.
Well, I'll be like, girl, because I'm very like, ain't nothing you could do now. So I just wait till intermission.
That's true.
Ain't nothing you could do. Okay. Never have I ever said something extra black in a lesson.
I feel like you have. I know you have. Your teacher black. Dang.
I got two, but you can go.
Not that I can recall, because I'm very, I have a white voice, and
Father, help us.
I said, because you're not gonna have me out here in front of my teacher.
I stopped caring a long time ago. I'm black, so I stopped turning that off. I couldn't find my high school white voice if I looked for it. If you gave me Google Map directions, I couldn't find that jump.
No, I turn that on. I turn that on to the utmost with my teacher.
What?
Yeah.
Hey, Miss Taylor.
Okay. But your teacher is black, and also because it's like the respect. It's like the respect of your teacher. On top of that, the respect of your elder. On top of that, the respect, and then like just regular white voice stuff. So it's like all three of those. Mm-hmm. So you're probably like the one that I talk to the most. Like, the most rated E for everyone. Like,
okay, so even recently, I think it was a couple weeks ago, I took a lesson somewhere, right? You know where? I ain't gonna put them out there. And it was boku money, and I ain't learned nothing. So I went back. I'm like, Mrs. Taylor, like, junk was stupid. I ain't say junk. Okay, it's not that blasé. Like, I wasn't like junk is stupid. I'm like, Mrs. Taylor, like, whatever. He had me out here, and he was like, oh. The teacher was like, I'm sorry it was so expensive. And I was like, you should be sorry. And Mrs. Taylor started laughing because, like, I'd be like, Mrs. Taylor, like, whatever, I don't care. And then back in undergrad, I said some Jamaican word. I really wish I could remember. Like, I said something, I said some Jamaican word in the lesson. And my teacher looked at me she was like, Katie, what? I really wish I could remember the word. It wasn't even like nothing like stupid. It was something like my grandma would say, like whatever, like something. And she was like, "That's not a word." I'm like, "Yes, it is. My grandma used it." Some. Right. So like, yes, I've definitely said black things. You know what? Maybe when the day I say on phone name in a lesson, I'll let you know. Can you imagine? It's like, Katie, that was beautiful. Gang gang. On phone name. Gang. Okay, never have I ever lied to my teacher.
You gonna make you say that junk on air?
You have? He asked you, did you practice this week? You'd be like, yeah.
What? Not that question specifically.
You've lied to your teacher.
No, well, hold on. I'm trying to think of something. I don't think so. I'm don't look at me like that. I'm trying to think. Maybe not. There have been times cause I told you a lesson that I had recently. I'd be like extra honest because he was like, oh, I'm gonna assign you such and such scales, and then he forgot to, and before I left I was like, oh, weren't you gonna so I'm not gonna be out here, but sometimes. You know what? This is something I tell a little white lie about. Sometimes if we say we're going to start with something, he's not going to remember that.
Right, that's different. You think I'm going to remind you of the 73 A2s you assigned me?
Oh, okay. Well, that's where I was counting that.
Nah, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, you could be like, he asked you, did you work on such and such? You'd be like, yeah. You know, or like, I might be like a little bit, right? Or like, I thought about it. You went to a lesson. You went to take a lesson or play a math class somewhere. He's like, "How'd it go?" Great.
No, I would never.
You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. Like
I'd be like, it was okay.
I'd be like,
that's lying because it was actually terrible.
Okay, moving on. Number 7. Never have I ever had an emergency in a concert.
What you mean had an emergency?
That can mean anything. I'm really not trying to say it too much. Like getting an upset stomach during a concert. Okay, you knee deep in the development, your stomach bubbling.
Deep in the development. You annoying. No. Not that I can remember.
Never?
Not that I can. No.
Or you got. Never mind, we ain't gonna say that. It happened to me my sophomore year. And we were playing, like, I can't remember. We were playing a symphony. I had an upset stomach. And we were like in movement 2. And I'm like, girl, what the hell are you going to do? And I was like, all right, we're going to thug it out, sis. But it's like, okay, movement 3 slower than what I remember in rehearsal. And I was like, bruh, what am I going to do? Like, Katie, like, what are you going to do? Like, I literally didn't know. And we get to the end of the movement 3. And I'm like, okay, this not going to work. And then I was like, okay, nah, thug it out, sis. Like, got this. Like, think about the music, but don't stop thinking too much, but like think about the music. And I was like, okay, and then I made it. I was like, but see, that's before I went vegan. I don't got the problems no more. All that meat.
Let's move on. No, I had a friend who told me, I remember he was playing Beethoven 9, second movement. They were in the second movement.
Beethoven 9, 50 minutes?
Right.
Longer, maybe?
Yeah, I think it's like an hour and 5 minutes. The way Berlin plays it. That's who I listen to. But
bro, I couldn't imagine.
In the second movement, no, like actually somebody, their stomach turned upside down.
On stage?
In the second movement, first of all.
No, you lying.
Nah, that's what he told me. Listen, that's what he told me. And first of all, all quiet and tender, that movement, the second movement, Beethoven 9, that movement's beautiful.
First of all, on the stage,
and they played through that. Okay, when players gotta breathe through gotta breathe that in.
Nah, that's disgusting.
Nah, we got to take an intermission early.
I would leave the stage. Like, if it was really like, okay.
Oh no.
If it was really that bad, like if I really didn't think I was gonna make it, I would have left. You know what I'm saying? But like, and also, I'm dramatic. It wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? But like, I just wasn't doing well. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, come on, my dude.
Right, you dramatic. It probably was like your neck itch during the concert.
Last one. Never have I ever had a crush on a music teacher.
Well, thanks for tuning in to Classically Black Podcast.
Let me bleed in.
I am not going to specify.
Okay.
I will not specify.
Oh, shoot.
But yes.
I have not.
Nobody that? But your teacher in your undergrad was female.
All of my teachers, Mr. Taylor is my first male viola teacher. Mm-hmm. And then general music teacher have all been women. And then...
so you just ain't had a chance. No, I'm saying like a chance to have...
Okay, Mr. Tobin in middle school, he was balding.
In middle school, sis? What?
Nah. What? I'm a music teacher?
What? You act like that don't make them attractive.
I can't even think of like undergrad. Okay, that's a question for
right from when we turn the mics on.
Right. Okay, and we're moving on.
All right. Now that Katie's successfully made me tell all my business.
What you mean, sister?
Anyway, so now we're gonna move on to a rather serious topic. Our main topic for the episode is being Black at conservatory. So as y'all know, me and Katie both go to the same school, Eastman School of Music. Go Yellow Jackets, Meliora.
You ain't gonna act like I know what that means. We've been over this.
All right. So basically we're gonna talk a little about our backgrounds coming into an environment like this. Yeah, so Katie.
Well, it's completely different for me because, first of all, I'm a grad student, so it's my first time at a conservatory because I went to a state school for my undergrad. And also, even going into undergrad, even though I went to a state school, like, I didn't really have... I was already used to being one of the only, because in high school, I took AP classes and honors classes. So there was only a small percentage of Black kids taking the APs and honors, and we were dispersed among a whole bunch of different sections. And then in orchestra, I was the only Black person, period. I'm talking about symphony orchestra. I'm talking about knee deep 70-piece orchestra. I'm the only Black person in there. So I already have this context of being the only. So when I got to ISU and I looked around, I was like, all right, bet. More the same things. And because like I was really like secluded in undergrad. Like I stayed in the music school, which is one thing I actually regret not branching out more. Mm-hmm. I was in interdenominational youth choir like my first year. It was lit. IYYYC. All right. It was lit. It was all Black. We had Ty Tribbett come. Like it was like we were out here. It was a lot of fun. I saw them once a week, and then I went right back to the little music building. So I never really branched out. So I've had this like being the only the whole time, not a lot of Black people around, and I regret not seeking it out. Meanwhile, I go to a state school. There's a BSU. There's all these other things. Even if I didn't want to continue doing IYC, there were so many ways that I could have interacted, and I didn't, because I got comfortable with my friends. I liked my friends. I liked what we were doing. I was really into music ed at the time. I was really into trying to get better at the viola. I made it seem like I wasn't. I'm not into that right now. Kind of Taylor Green. No, but I was really into like figuring out the viola thing. So I would be like, I don't have time for that. Like, I'm teaching blase. And then, so when I came to Eastman, I literally had no expectation, because I'm like, it's a conservatory. It's going to be 3 Black people here anyway. We're not going to talk to each other and whatever. Like, I didn't, and also it's a conservatory. I've never been in that environment. So I had like preconceived notions of like, what is it gonna mean to be in a conservatory? Like, everybody on your neck, everybody out to get you. Like, you know, it's like
Hunger Games.
And but also we have to remember that Eastman's different.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, Eastman's not like, Eastman's a conservatory, but like everyone's really supportive and whatever. Everyone's looking out. Well, not everyone, but most people are looking out for you. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I guess anywhere.
Most people are looking out for you. So, what even my first couple years here at Eastman, not talking to any Black people, that felt normal to me. I was like, yeah, there's a couple here and there, but like everyone is staying close to their instrument group. You know, everyone wants to hang out. Like, meanwhile, I don't hang out with the violas.
Right. Not I, said the fly. No, I'm just
kidding. I mean, the violas are cool, and like now with the studio, our studio has changed a lot. So like, I hang out with violas now, but I'm hanging out with violas. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I want to talk about the same 4 concertos with y'all.
All right, we got like 8.
I'm talking about us. Oh dang, we got a good 5. Well, we not a good 5.
I mean, if you want to count like for us, you want to count like the weird ones like Piston and like Rosa. You know, like hard stuff, or like I don't even. It sound like noise. It don't sound like. But like our big 3 and our 2 classical, and then you know, Berlioz's little obligato. Okay, all anyway, right. That's not what we talking about. But yeah. How about you, sister?
So, I'm coming from an environment that's basically like all Black people all the time. Like the
bruh, bless your heart. You coming here? Let me let you finish. I couldn't imagine. Could not imagine.
Talk about a culture shock.
Culture shock. This is a shock.
Right. It's a shock. Yeah, so like the city that I grew up in, everybody Black. Everybody. But like I could probably count maybe 2 times in my entire lifetime of living in Inglewood that I've seen a white person in that like city. You know, obviously like LA big, and I did a lot of music related. I did a lot of music in high school and stuff, so I was all over the city. So it's not like this is my first time ever seeing a white person,
right?
Like, but it's really different, especially because like I went to like some pretty diverse schools like from 7th grade on, but it was still like not I'm the only Black person. Like it was like good, like it was diverse. And then I also had the opportunity to I went to Luzerne Music Center, but that was in like 2012, and that was the year before I went to high school. And then I went to Interlochen in 2014. So and those are spaces that are pretty similar to the demographics here at Eastman. And so I was like, okay, I know what to expect. I know it's going to be different. I got here. I was like, I didn't know it was going to be this different. I was like, oh my gosh. So I was, trying to finesse my way through this, but it just, and I'm not a very social person. I'm not one to be out here. I had never even been to a party before I got here. But I really, really feel like the thing that makes me like really in my feelings about this whole experience is that I feel like I really, really tried to make friends and to be out here. I went to big parties, small parties, frat parties, little get-togethers, studio parties, all that, and just like nothing ever fit. I just always felt so out of place. And like literally one of the first things that I did when I came to Eastman was look up and see if they had a BSU and all that. And University of Rochester does, but the way that their things are set up is really, it's kind of hard for us to get over there just because our schedules are different. and you have to deal with like bus schedules, and class schedules are on like a different sort of like block there. So, you know, it's kind of hard. But yeah, coming here, like, I thought I knew what to expect from situations like Interlochen, but what I didn't realize was that, yeah, it's gonna be different, but it's gonna be different for a longer amount of time. So I went to Interlochen for 6 weeks. I had a grand old time. Like, it was amazing. But what I didn't realize, like, I live here. That, like, I'm in this. Like, this not a temporary thing. So probably like around spring break of my freshman year, I was like in shambles. I was so like depressed. Like, I just like, it was just way too much. And I just like could not wait to go home. And that's why, like, I didn't even think of, like, the same as you. Like, I didn't even think that we were gonna like be like I was gonna be interacting with Black students at Eastman. I didn't think there was gonna be very many at all, you know, that I could interact with. Just knowing, because I knew the number at the time when I came in, because you know, I had heard it, and it was like kind of discouraging or whatever. But yeah,
but that's the thing we realized, and we kind of talked about it last week. It's like, when we came in, it's like Black people at Eastman don't talk to each other. Yeah. Because I don't know if it's because I don't know why it's like that. I don't know if it's because you feel more comfortable talking to your instrument, which, I mean, the violas are cool, but also, like, I mean, and our studio has changed a lot from when I came in, but, or it's like you don't want to be seen talking to the only other Black person in the room. But that, to me, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, why not?
Right. I'm like, that's my preference.
Exactly. It's like, I don't understand why you would be embarrassed like by that. You know, it's like a whole bunch of y'all in a room, and it's like, oh yeah, the 2 Black girls. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Like, let people think what they think. But it's just, it was, even though I wasn't literally have no expectation of Blackness at Eastman. Like, I still was like, dang, I guess kind of sucks that I see these Black people and we don't even talk, you know. But I was like, that's just the way it is, whatever. But then when I met you, we talked about that. It's like, nah, we're gonna do something about this, and it's so different now. It's like
so different.
Like, honestly, it's like the most Black interaction I've had since ever, because it's like whatever. Like, I grew up in a Black church. My church is very Black. It's 100% Black, because anyway. It's 100% Black, right? So, but because of viola, I wasn't really in youth group or whatever, so I didn't have that, like, when I go back home to church, it's like, yeah, I see the people, whatever, I say hi or whatever, but it's not like, oh, those are my people, those are my church friends. And then I have, all my friends are Black. But again, when we go to school, we're separated. So it's like, I never was in a place like you where it's like, okay, everyone around me is Black. I've had to navigate these spaces, you know. I've had to be like, how do you decipher? But especially something at like Eastman where it's like so like intense sometimes, it's like you kind of want your people to have you, you know what I'm saying? And it was a little discouraging the first year when it's like, oh wow, y'all not talking to each other. But I just blew it off. I was like, okay, well, right, guess that's what we doing. Keep it pushing, you know. Right. I don't know.
Yeah, so what are some of the things that that you've done, like, since being here at Eastman? Like, I know that you know, we're like being in an environment where you're surrounded by people that don't look like you may want to keep yourself rooted in your Blackness and stuff. So what are some of the things that you've done, like, for yourself to keep that part of you, you know?
Stuff that I do.
All right.
What I do? I'm just kidding. Well, I think one of the main things I've done, specifically in regards to Eastman, has been just seeking out Black friends, because we know what I realize with people here. It's like, if you just approach them and be like, hey, you want to do this or whatever. And like, one of the wind players here, I was in the same cycle as her, and I knew her through friends from other music festivals, gateways, whatever. So we were in the same rotation, just these 2 Black girls, different instruments, not talking. And I literally went up to her before rehearsal. I was like, hey, you want to change numbers? Because whatever, we doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, just reaching out, because a lot of times, like, they'll just they'll want to hang out. They want to get to know you, whatever. Not all the time.
Okay, social butterfly.
But okay, not all the time, because that's another story for another day. But the majority of the time, if not all the time, they want to, whatever. So I think that's been like the main thing. And then also a huge part of my life, I am a member of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. Here we go. Incorporated. And Incorporated. Shout out to November coming up. And I've always wanted to be at Shiro. Not a lot of people don't know that, because I don't put my business out like that. But I've always wanted to be at Shiro. And I've always made viola get in the way. And I had a really hard time adjusting to Eastman. Like, not feeling like I played well enough to be here. Like, what the heck am I doing here? And I was like, I want to work on Katie outside the realm of being a viola. So I finally, like, after all these years, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pledge. And so that, like, my sorors in Rochester, like, those are my sisters. Those are my people. So it's like, I'd have no shortness of, like, feeling connected to Blackness, because it's like, when I'm not, and also I have my teacher, we lit in lessons. So it's like, when I'm out in the lesson, I'm with you, I'm with other Black people, I'm with my sorors. So it's like, I have places where I can, like, check in and be like, okay, I'm good. You know, like, I have places where I could be like, okay, this is okay. And also, like, I'm Jamaican, so I call my friends, just the simple thing of, like, just talking in my accent, you know what I'm saying, with people, even if it's over FaceTime, just being like, don't let this place, like, get to me too much, you know what I'm saying? Like, I call my friend Nikki, I'd be like, well, I'm going, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, just, like, little things like that. Not little, because, love my blue and gold, but you know what I'm saying.
All right, so moving on.
What have you done?
Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my Black friends from home actually ended up going to HBCUs. So, like, we in completely opposite places. Like,
they lit, we on fire. Two different things.
Right. Like, with my best friends, like, she goes to Spelman, and I would call her up. She's like, dang, I ain't seen a white person in months. I'm like, she's like, I forgot what they look like. I was like, all right. She's like, dang, Dalanie, like, I just can't even fathom. Like, just literally like, just in the opposite, because we're, like, from the same
just
place
leave
too.
Campus. Just leave Spelman's campus.
We're, like, in the, like, we came from the same environment too, so she going from all Black to all Black, like, so just keeping it, like, sometimes I just be like, I call her, be like, just put the camera outside your window, I just want to see the melanin today.
It's so annoying.
I remember my freshman year when I was going through it, like, for real, I just be like, dang, I was like, I ain't seen a Black person in weeks, like, because we so sparse, and then all got different
things, yeah.
Like, I was not seeing nobody around, like, I was just like, wow. But I don't know, like, I think the reason why I was having such a hard time is because I wasn't well, it's not true that I wasn't seeking out those things to, to cater to that side of myself. It was more of, I was trying to adjust. I'm not a person that is going to try to fit in by any means necessary, because I'm gonna just be me, which is why, like I said, I know I have a white voice, I have all that, but I would rather hang out by myself than have a group of friends where I have to put that junk on all the time.
It's important to enjoy your own company.
Yeah, I would rather have no friends than have friends where I feel like I can't be myself around.
Exactly.
So I feel like that's a part of the reason why I was having a hard time, was because I wasn't, like, putting time aside, like how you said, doing something for yourself outside of YOLA. Like, I wasn't trying to do something outside of base.
And that's my advice to anybody. Like, I get, like, excuse me, you love what you do, like, you love playing your instrument, but, like, viola is such a big part of me. So when it's not going well, like, if I take a L in rep class, or I don't have a lesson that goes well, or whatever, I mess up in a master class, like, I'm in my feelings, and that affects me. So it's like, I have to have other things that, I do, whether it's working out. I mean, when I tell you, side note, when I saw that gym membership come out of my bank account today, I was like, all right, I haven't been there in weeks. I feel some type of way about that. But whether it's working out, finding other social circles, doing something you always wanted to do instead of viola. No, I just think that's so important. Like, who are you besides the instrument that you play?
Nothing. Nobody.
See, you cannot be like, we signed up for tap dance,
girl. Anyway,
sister.
I just
tippy tap tap.
That's something I still have a problem with because I'm lazy. Like this, you know. Like, I'm not a person that's just about to get up and do stuff. Like, I'm in my room. Like, if I'm not in my practice room, I'm in my room. Like, but I do desire to be a person that's not like that because you just it doesn't feel good to just watch like days go by and you've done nothing. Like, you know. But I feel like that's one of the reasons why I had such a hard time is because I wasn't like I did seek out the BSU, but it just didn't work with my schedule and it wasn't something I was able to do. So I was just like, oh well.
Step team.
All right. It is.
Could you join a step team?
Girls, it's not my desire. So I think like I was going through it because of that, but now, after I've like. One of the things that I did start doing, though, I started taking, like, classes in African American studies because I had considered having a dual degree and doing that, but I just don't have the work ethic for something like that. I need to be on this base. I can't be, you know, like, I got a one-track mind. Not necessarily, but, like, for the amount of work that it takes to, you know, be on an instrument like this at this level and all that, I gotta be on this base. But I started being like, okay, I'm gonna take, like, one class, you know, because I really like writing. I like history and specifically Black history. So, and I really like, I discovered something about myself, like, through this, like, exploring Blackness. I took a class on African American vernacular English, found out I really like linguistics. Like, so just taking classes like that, like right now I'm taking a class called Representing African Americans and the African Imagination. Like, that's one of the things, but also at the same time, that's still academic. That's still school. So, you know, even now I'm still searching for things. However, like how me and Katie were, how Katie said, you know, things are changing now here at Eastman because we're starting an organization for all of us Black students to link up and do stuff together. And it's going really well. Like we had like our events popping.
Right. Our game night.
Right.
This is a what? A what? That game is lit.
Right. Me and Katie, like how I go home and tell my mama I learned how to play spades at Eastman.
I learned how to play spades at Eastman. First of all, I'm old.
Like what?
It's good now. I feel like this is like, and it kind of makes me nervous. Like when you start applying to like thinking about applying to other places, what is it gonna look like there? But I guess you just gotta roll with it because I'm just not pressed, to be honest. And I think the reason why I feel this way is mainly because of my background. It's like I'm just so used to being like the only or whatever. I struggled to make friends my first year at ISU. Like I was very similar to you. I was in my room minding my business. I don't really, because that's crazy. I tried to make friends, but the thing is, like, when you don't want to drink and be like, do all that crazy stuff, right? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with drinking. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't really feel like being placid with y'all.
Right. That's not my thing
in somebody's apartment. I just don't. That was just
every weekend.
Every weekend that God gives y'all out there, and it's just not. I rather. That's when Dance Moms was popping. Right. Get my to-go box from the cafeteria downstairs and go in my room and mind my business. So I had a hard time making friends my first year at ISU because I just wasn't really vibing with the people or whatever. And then, so when I came to Eastman, I was like, look, it can go one of two ways, but I'm just not pressed. I'm here to get on this viola, maybe finally playing tune. And you know, get to where I need to go. So this is all a bonus to me. It's like I accomplished something like so great by becoming a member of Sigma Gamma Rho. I have Black friends at Eastman. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like crazy. And Eastman's also a little different because it's going to attract, even though like the numbers are low, it's going to attract more minorities than I feel like a state school would, because you know, they have more applicants, because I don't think there was more than like 2 or 3 of us in like the entire school at any given point. You know, and ISU has a pretty good music school. So that's my thoughts on that. Do you think it's important to like maintain your Blackness?
For me, was very important. Like for me, I'm looking like everything about me is, well, yeah, like pretty much everything about the person who I am is just like rooted in black. Like that's why I felt like it was so jarring, like to come here, because like like our senses of humor are different than the people that I'm talking to. I'm making jokes that they don't understand. Nothing that y'all say is funny to me. Like, you know, it's stuff like that, like that just don't. I just felt like I just did not fit. Like oh my gosh.
And it's like a terrible feeling when to feel like you don't fit.
Right.
Because like what you gonna do? You already signed the papers. You already going here.
Like trying to fit like a circle into a square that's smaller than it. Like that,
right.
You know? Like that's exactly what it felt like. I don't know. I felt like for me, that's something that I discovered. Like I thought I could just put it on the back burner, do whatever, you know. And that reminds me of something that I was gonna say before that I forgot. Don't tell me I forgot it again.
All right.
I told you my memory is jacked. Oh wow! In a split second, I forgot it again. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, but I just felt like it's really important for me personally. I think it's a personal thing. Like if you're not piping up and just black all the time, then maybe you do less. You know, maybe that you. Oh, now I remember it. Okay, like you were saying about you were like here to do this viola stuff. Like everything else is a bonus. Like I came in with a similar mindset. Like, well, I didn't come in with this mindset after I felt all downtrodden about not having friends and stuff. I was like, well, at the end of the day, I'm here to be on this base. At the end of the day, I'm here for a degree, not to make friends. But you're supposed to leave school with so much more than just a degree. You're supposed to leave with connections and lifelong friendships and all that. And I was saying that obviously because I was in my feelings and I was trying to convince myself that it was okay, that I didn't fit in. But now, you know, of course, I'm glad that I've met people that, you know, really ride for me, you know, and
exactly.
people.
I feel like a lot of people that I've met since being at Eastman, like I've made some really good connections here, you know, but like people we met outside of Eastman, like the writers, the Wodies, you know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't meet y'all here,
right?
So it's like I feel like people are drawn to you, like people will come to you when they're supposed to come to you. So that's why I just don't be pressed. I'd be like, y'all can talk to me, or you can't talk to me. I'm still finna smack my mouth. I'm still finna pop my gum. All right. Like I just don't. I'm just like I told you I'm of a particular age, and I just.
And I just, this just the end of your life right now. Not even 30.
And I just don't have the time to be like putting on a facade and like changing my voice up. I'm like, y'all could take it or y'all could leave it. And I'm not talking about like going up to an audition and be like, hey y'all, so today I'm gonna play Berlioz from a carnival.
Right.
Like that's
bear.
That's not what I mean, but it's just like like you either come to me, you don't. You either like me, you don't. But I'm black, been black, and you lucky I'm out here with my Jamaican accent. Right. Only because y'all can't understand. Y'all won't be able to understand me. It'll be weird as heck if I'm over here like bless up my people them. So you know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I think it's important to maintain your blackness. But I feel like I do that. You know, I talk to my friends who are Jamaican as heck. You know, I talk to y'all here. And I have my sorors, so it's like I'm doing the good work of the people. Here.
All right,
and we're moving on.
Right to Black Excellence.
So Black Excellence this week. Oh my God, I love him so much. I met him. I don't even think I met him formally before I was all up in his face because I knew he was a violist. I knew he was in my studio, and he's like the cutest, like most like hardworking person I know. His name is Adrian Jackson. Shout out to my scale buddy. When I tell you Adrian is on it, if I was on it like Adrian when I was a freshman, because Mrs. Taylor signed scale buddies, so whatever. I was like, all right, bet I'm gonna take Adrian, and then. You know, we're gonna do it once and whatever. He texted me, he's like, okay, so when are we meeting? Because, and I was like, oh, Adrian is from Texas. He went to Interlochen before coming here to Eastman. And the crazy thing about Adrian is that he started playing the viola 4 years ago. What? Like he moved around a lot. And then he got his hands on a viola right before he went to high school, and his teacher was like, why don't you look at interlocking? Beasted it, got an interlocking, and then just worked, and he was like, I really want to go to Eastman. I see myself, whatever. And he's here. Like, it's just crazy, like how hard he worked and how he's just going after his dreams. And if you meet him, this is the thing I pay attention to. I pay attention to the attitude. If you meet Adrian, he's so friendly, he's so warm, he's so inviting, and he just wants to learn. I spoke to him a bit because like we meet every Tuesday morning to do scales, and he just wants to learn as much as he can, and he's just trying to eat up everything. He's just trying to figure this viola thing out. He's just so genuine. I just think he's gonna go like really, really far. So we can link Adrian's socials, and we'll also link the article that the University of Rochester wrote on him, so you can check him out. He's a super cool kid, super sweet, and gonna take the world by storm. And if you have any suggestions for Black excellence, it doesn't have to necessarily be performers, looking for educators, entrepreneurs, please email them to us at classicallyblackpodcast@gmail.com.
Aww, so happy for Adrian.
Right?
He's so cute.
He's so cute.
Right, just so nice.
He's
and bubbly.
Right, someone has to be happy
and motivated. I just all things that I'm not. But,
wow.
But you know, somebody gotta be
out here. I'm glad it's Adrian.
So
this week, every once in a while, there's something on our hearts,
right,
that we must get off.
Right, weighing heavy.
Just weighing heavy.
My aorta pulsating.
And you just gotta get off your heart. Every once in a while, you're gonna hear us read somebody on here. Yeah. Just something that's just be weighing on us. And we're gonna talk about this, my dude Wagner. So let me tell you how I've been feeling some type of way about Wagner, right? First of all, why do everything gotta be in the key E major? This dude, if it ain't got 4+ sharps, it's like not for him.
Right.
Take a look. I'm telling you, like at least 60% of his stuff gotta be E major or higher. Like it don't. So now my hand all disconfigured. You know how hard it is to play E major on the viola?
No, I don't.
Well, you know, ask somebody, because like I just be out here. So of course, what we working on? We working on Townhauser. So I get my little part. It's already doubled. Every note gotta be doubled, sis.
Right.
Every single one. And I'm like,
I feel like you just write it and be like, so what else could I do? And then just add like whatever key you write it in. He like, okay, add 2 more sharps on that.
Right. It's like when you go to frozen yogurt and like the yogurt is fine by itself, but you're like, what toppings can I put on
right.
it? You know, put some M&M's, a coconut.
Right.
For what? That's how he is. So Townhouse is basically an E major A2. Why don't you leave the A2 right into to Kreutzer? Why don't you do that? So, and then everything's doubled. So I get in there, I do my mock audition, I take an L. And they were like, it just got slower and slower. I'm like, it will get slower and slower if you played it too. My arm falling off at the hinge.
All that's telling me is you versatile.
Listen,
I could play in this tempo, that one, and a third one too.
Anyway, nah. And then this is what bothered me. Like, I get like y'all trying to expand the viola or whatever, and that's real cute and everything. But all I'm saying is, you're not finna have me digga 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 digga, and then be up da da da, and then. 6 positions, sis. After all of that,
I've been looking at the violas and we in orchestra.
Nah, he on dirt. Like Wagner, and it's like I try to take my time complaining about Wagner because I want to be an opera. Like that's where I see myself. Like I'm not really interested in the symphony stage because I just love opera. Jonk is lit. So I know I'm going to be in contact with him in his E major and above for a very long time. I'm just saying, like, something has to be said about him. Something must be said. It's like, he's out of control.
Well, even if something is said about him, we still programming him. Meanwhile, he was problematic. To the fullest extent. Over here, anti-Semitic. Like, nah. And we still programming Wagner.
Still programming Wagner.
Like,
But it's like, you know what? White men can be problematic and y'all keep them. Meanwhile...
Right. And that's not even that. In my opinion, that's not even a read because, like, that you reading yourself. You have yourself out here,
right?
Like, nah. This is a question I got for Faulkner. I was about to say as soon as I head to the pearly gates, but Lord knows he not there.
Oh, Wagner?
Yeah,
Wagner ain't there.
Right.
First of all, have you seen his portrait?
No. I'm about to look it up right now.
He look about a step below Mussorgsky because Mussorgsky like he was going through it.
All right. Oh. Oof. All
yeah,
right.
Wagner.
All right. Well, I several questions about the ring cycle. Who you write that for? Who do you think? He must have wrote that junk for people in hospice who couldn't go nowhere. Because who about to sit here and listen to 14 hours of your junk? Nobody. Not I. Said the
ring
fly.
cycle. What do you gotta? Don't they? I feel like they like program that junk over several weekends.
Like, ain't nobody playing no full ring cycle. Who do you think you are? Nah. He wrote that for the prisoners in so and so jail.
Right,
right. The lifers.
Probably the ones who acted it out too. They probably look it up because maybe the first production was like right there at Alcatraz.
First production at Alcatraz.
Ain't had nothing else to do.
Right.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna look that up. I bet you
14 and a half hours. Come on.
Nah, Wagner been on dirt.
On dirt. All right on top.
Right on top.
Nah, he doing the most with that ring cycle junk. Nah.
Oh, I just need it to
get that right on off my chest.
Get that right on off my chest.
Ooh. So, on that note,
about to get up out of here.
Right. Katie, do you have a piece for the people this week?
Okay, so a piece that I forgot about that is an entire bop. Les Preludes by Liszt.
that junk goes.
If you are asleep, wake up.
Right.
Wake up.
Wakey.
Right. And you gotta like, if you forgot about it, get on that junk.
Right.
Listen to, like, I was like, I cannot believe I forgot about that piece. Like,
it's so lit.
It is so good. And like, you know what? Did I just throw dirt on Wagner for writing Preludes? I did, but this is Liszt and this is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, Les Prelude is so good. I also feel a personal connection to that piece because I remember like that was one of the first pieces I played at undergrad, like as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Could not play it. Just could not play it. I remember like crying. I was in the practice room crying, like I cannot play this junk. But you know, we here now. We good. Yeah. And it's like it's just so good.
For real.
And I cannot believe I forgot about it.
It's all luscious. Those of us who went to Interlochen know that ending Les Preludes with all the like it's so nostalgic too. Like I used to listen to Les Preludes walking the orchestra from the bus stop. Like it's my jam. It's a bob.
If you forgot about it, check it out.
Right. We're gonna have the link in
the
description.
All right, sis. Episode 2 in the bag.
All
right. Don't forget to follow us on social media, y'all.
Right.
All the info in the description box. And we will see you next week. Bye, y'all.